Alright, so today I'm going to be absolutely abusing the TERRATAC X14 to see where its limits are. Everything from taking down stuff it's not supposed to be taking down, drop tests, batoning with a blade. I just want to find out, you know, how is this going to hold up to absolutely absurd situations that you probably will never find yourself with in the real life. But yeah, I think it's a good test to kind of see how good this really is, how far we can push it, and then at the end I will give you my final thoughts on whether I think that you should buy this or not. Alright, so just to quickly go over the tools again. First up, you've got this nice thick blade, super utilitarian, and you've got your spring-loaded scissors, which are of course absolutely amazing. Then over on the other side you have your saw, and then also your file. Again, all of these tools are locking with that, it's like a frame lock built in right there. You've got your pocket clip on the inside. You've obviously got the spring-loaded pliers with the replaceable wire cutters, and then also on this side you have your that looks like a gut hook, a big flathead, a can opener, and a small bit driver right there. Again, all of these tools are locking with that button right there, so you just push that in and everything closes up. Over to the other side you've got your awl with a hole right there in it, and also your Phillips driver, which is quite capable. Alright, so the first tool we're going to test is a saw. We're going to see how long it takes me to get through this piece of wood. If I had to guess, it's about, what's that? Well, we can just use the ruler. This thing is about 6 centimeters in diameter. So let's see how quickly this saw gets through this piece. Alright, so I got, yes, I don't know what that is. I got pretty much halfway through it. The saw is starting to get a little bit stuck in there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get completely through it with the saw. Maybe I will, but let's see. Alright, so after a little bit of effort, I'm not completely through it, but I managed to get quite deep. I did not think I was going to get that deep, if I'm being honest. Again, the saw isn't really made to take down something like this. This wood is a little bit more green, but what I can say is the saw didn't close up on me. By the looks of it, everything is still nice and straight, so yeah. Here we've got a little bit of a smaller piece of branch or root rather. I think this is more something that the saw is meant for, so let's see how quickly we can get through this. Alright, so there you go. Saw held up pretty good. Again, everything is still nice and true, nothing came loose. Alright, so I'm quickly going to go and do some drop tests. Now obviously when you're using a multi-tool, sometimes it is going to drop. I just happen to be on brick, so let's see. I'm going to drop it from about waist height, just, you know, taking it out of the sheath. Alright, there was the first one, second one. And there was 3 drops. Alright, so just looking at the overall damage on it, doesn't look like it took any major damage. You've got some wear and tear there from the bricks, small indent right there, but overall everything still feels nice and true. Slight bit of blade play developed, but nothing that just a little bit of tightening of the screws won't fix. Scissors, same thing, pretty much still true, and yeah, saw still true. Pliers still working, springs are still intact. yeah. Alright, so for the next test I'm going to be batoning through this piece of log. We'll see how the blade holds up. I know that you're supposed to do it like this and baton it like that with multi-tools, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it as if I'm batoning a fixed blade, push this thing to its absolute limits. Alright, so I didn't really get that far through it. The lock right there looks like it took a slight bend, definitely some blade play that developed. But again, this test is, you should not do this to a multi-tool. This is the absolute extreme. Can I get through this piece of wood? I probably could if I tried really hard. Like I said, again, this is an extreme test that shouldn't be done to a multi-tool. If you look there, there is just a little bit of bending that took place there on that locking mechanism. Afterwards, I'll tighten up everything, see if it's something that I can fix right here. But the blade didn't break, the mechanism didn't break, just took some hits. Overall, still workable. Alright, so to test the scissors, I've just got a small piece of wood here. Gonna be cutting through this as many times as I can until we've gone through the entire thing. Alright, so let's quickly cut through this thing, see how many times I can cut through it, up and up into where I can cut through it. There's a knot right there, goes through the knot. Okay, now the wood's starting to get a little bit drier, sorry, a little bit wetter, becoming a little bit more difficult to cut through. Still going through. Alright, and then this is going to be the last one. Okay, so it got through that, no problems, didn't get any wear and tear. Scissors are still perfectly functional, no blade play or scissor play for that matter. Yeah, but these scissors are quite beefy. You can definitely go and take down pretty big zip ties and cut through big zip ties and stuff like that with these scissors. Definitely one of my favorite parts on the knife, and yeah, they held up great. Alright, so to quickly test out the file, I've still got that same piece of timber we used for the baton test. I'm just going to try and take off the burr around this piece of timber, see how good the crosscut file in this is. It is advertised as a wood file, so shouldn't have any problem going through this. So as you can see right there around the corners, it had no problem taking off the burrs on this piece of timber. I mean, it's a crosscut file, it's good as a crosscut file on a multi-tool. I don't know if you're going to be able to take down metal with this. You probably will be able to. You also have that small piece of file right there, so you can also do some fine filing. But yeah, I mean, the file is great. Another thing, they have chamfered the tip of the file there, so that can be used as a pry bar and also as a big flathead driver. Alright, so to test out the wire cutters, I don't have any piece of wire, but I did find this piece of metal, so we'll just see if it can go through this. It goes through it, no problem. Again, the wire cutters are replaceable, so if they do break, you can replace them, so that's not an issue. I have cut through coat hangers with this, so I'm sure that this will hold up to most wire cutting applications. And then you also have that small section there in between the two plier handles, which can be used as a wire crimper. I'm not sure if it's intended to be used as a wire crimper, I'm assuming that it is, but yes, it is there. And then for the pliers, these are very fine. It's almost needle nose like pliers, not as fine as some of the pliers that you will find on Leathermans, but as you can see, they are very grippy. You'll have no problem doing any type of job where you're going to need pliers for with this thing. Again, quite capable. Really like these pliers, and as you can see, they work just fine. Alright, and then to finish things off, I'm going to be trying to hammer this piece of old nail into this log. I've seen that in some of the ads that they do use this as a hammer, so we'll see how effective that is. And while we're here, let's see if we can sharpen up this nail just a little bit by using the file. Okay, so as you can see there, the file definitely did remove some of the material. This thing was completely dull when I picked it up. So it did remove some material, so you'll definitely be able to use the file for some metal filing applications. But let's just see if we can hammer this thing into the log. Well, so it definitely is hammering it in. Nothing's coming apart. The nail did start bending a little bit, but yeah, as expected, it's all nail. So we'll see, maybe we can just clip this off at an angle. Well, it got through it. I definitely lost the nail. It got through that with just a little bit of force. Again, overall, everything held up. Nothing broke. The only thing that I picked up on was in the batoning process, the blade did pick up a little bit of blade play, but that's about it. Overall, I mean, for 1,100 Rand, this thing is incredible. You're definitely going to be able to get through all of your industrial and construction applications with this. Like you saw in the drop test, you can drop this thing, nothing's going to come apart. Overall, I'm quite impressed. Like I said, nothing that broke or nothing that came loose on here today, because nothing really broke. Nothing that came loose on here is something, especially even the blade, that little bit of blade play, I can quickly take a T8 screw, or I'm not sure what T screw that is, but you can just quickly take a T screw, tighten it back up, and then you will be ready to rock and roll. But that's all for today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and happy carry. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.